Hey guys, today's job is we're doing a little concrete patio slab here. The owner wanted to be able to put a few chairs and tables out here, and then an apron in front of that big garage door that kind of acts like a sidewalk too, going all the way down to that 3-foot door. Now this is a brewery. He actually, they make beer here. They sell pizza and, stuff like that. So we wanted people to be able to sit outside on this slab and, eat their pizza. So today we're getting this set up. It's 12-inch thick edges. The excavator did an okay job. I wouldn't say it was great. We had to work with the dirt a little bit, but it was good enough so we could get this done. So 12-inch thick edges, goes up to a 6-inch thick slab. We got 2 inches of styrofoam under it, as you can see. That's for frost protection. And then we're going to be putting the wire mesh in here. And when we pour this thing, we'll drop some rebar in around the outside edge too, just to help strengthen that up a little bit. But the real key is getting this formed, getting it squared. We'll put ISO strip up against the metal building, keep the concrete away from the building. And then out in front of the door there, the big door, we'll make sure that all slopes away from the doors, the sidewalk part of it. We're going to put a broom finish on this, and we'll cut some joints in it too. Now, if you want to see the finishing part of it, you got to follow, come on back and see us on the next one. I'll have that on the next video. But I just wanted to give you a little idea of what entails going into forming up something like this when, you're adding on multiple different things. So, and there's another little 3-foot door out here in front by the camera. You can't see. We got a little pad we're setting up on there too. But the 2-inch styrofoam, that works really good if you put it on top of gravel for keeping the frost from getting under a slab like this and heaving it. We don't really have any trouble with that if we put the 2-inch styrofoam down. And a lot of times, if you just do the gravel right and do the drainage and the landscaping right, then you don't have trouble with it heaving either without the styrofoam. But a lot of people like the extra protection and insurance from putting the 2 inches of styrofoam down. Now that stuff is expensive now. At the time of me making this video, a 4x8 sheet is about $60. So it's pretty much as expensive as a yard of concrete right there. But we set everything up with a laser, make sure all the slopes are just right. And, we screw the board, we screw the forms into the metal pins that we use right there to get everything set. And now we're using a little bit heavier gauge wire than your normal wire mesh. The contractor we're working for, we're a sub on this job. They do a bunch of commercial work too, so they get all kinds of this wire left over. So we're going to use up the heavy wire mesh on here. We'll make sure we got stuff under it so it stays up in the concrete really good. And then you can see all the rebar over there to the right will end up setting in here afterwards. We could tie the rebar in it and that would be good too, but I like floating it down in as we pour and getting it about 2 inches from the surface. All right, so here's pour day. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a really nice warm day today, so this stuff ought to set up on us really good. We're starting back there on the thinner part on the walkway. We're going to work our way up to the patio. Now, this thing has multiple slopes to it. It slopes away from the building, and then as you can see with the white ISO foam we got up against the building, it slopes up to the patio, and then the patio also slopes away from the building. So we're pouring this concrete really stiff today. That's probably about a 4-inch slump. And that's for 2 reasons, to help hold the slope, but also so we can get right back on it and start finishing it a lot faster. Now we're going to end up cutting grooves in this by hand. We're going to broom finish it, and you're going to get to see all that here just in a minute. Now let me just say this. Our sponsor for this video is the Concrete Underground. That's my concrete academy where I teach everybody how to do concrete work just like we do. So that's from the comfort of your own home. Now you can go on there, you can join the Concrete Academy, you can get on there if it's a monthly fee, and I have all my training videos in there, just similar to this one, on the job videos, where I go right straight through everything, step by step on what you need to do from start to finish, and it teaches you how to work with the concrete. It's the only place online you can learn concrete like this, so if you're interested in that stuff, check that, the link for that's down below. Now, thank God we could get this all on one truck. I like it, when you get concrete all on one truck, then it usually finishes pretty evenly. If you got 2 or 3 loads, then you might have one load that cures up a lot faster than another load. then you're trying to blend in where they meet up against each other, and sometimes that can look a little funny. So one truck, one simple pour like this, really easy. Now we dropped in, as you see, we were pulling the wire mesh up as we were going. Then we dropped in 2 rows of rebar around that outside edge just to help strengthen the edge up. They're not going to build anything on this, just going to be an open patio. They're going to sit some tables on it. And there's that little front entryway I was talking to you about before. And again, you see the rebar right on the ground here, right in front. Sometimes we just like dropping it in versus tying it to the wire. That way we can put it right where we want it, push it down about 2 inches, then mag float over it, and we know it's right there about 2 inches down from the surface. So there's the pour. Now we're going to get right on to the finishing part of it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll measure out where we want to cut our joints if we haven't done that already, and we'll cut those in when it's really soft using this nice walk behind joiner tool. And that gets them down about 1.5 inches deep. And you can cut them really soft because it's just how wide that is, and it's really lightweight too. So you want to make sure you get on it just at the right time. So we'll cut all them in, and then we can go, as soon as it starts being firm enough, we can go over it with what we call this funny float here. This is a fiberglass float. It's got a handle on it. We can reach right out, mag float the whole thing without getting on it with our skids. And this is kind of like the pre-float phase. It's just smoothing it out a little bit better than the bull float, filling any imperfections the bull float didn't get. We'll go over it at least twice by mag floating it like this, and sometimes 3 times. We don't usually hard trowel concrete in Maine because they have air entrainment in it. We don't like to trap the air under the surface of the concrete. And sometimes if you steel trowel that surface really smooth, there's a chance you could trap some air under there, and then if you don't get that out, it hardens in there, then it leaves like a blister, and then the surface of the concrete peels off. So we'll float it, and there's less chance of trapping air if you float it like this and kind of keep the surface more open. This is what we've always had good luck with, pouring our mixes with air entrainment. Now air entrainment's for freeze and thaw protection. So water's like a sponge, right? If it rains on concrete, the concrete just soaks it right in like a sponge. There's all kinds of tiny little microscopic capillaries in the concrete. So when it's cold out, when it gets below freezing, you get that water that's soaked into the concrete, then it freezes, it expands and pops the surface. So the air entrainment creates all these little microscopic air bubbles inside the concrete. So if that water does want to freeze, it'll expand in those little air bubbles and it won't pop the surface. That's the theory behind it. And it seems to work pretty good for most part. So Luke's got the funny float. He's reaching out, getting whatever he can, smoothing it out best he can. Going, up next to the grooves, make sure the groove's nice and flat. And then we'll go back. We'll touch up everything too by hand, kind of like what Darren's doing here now. We can reach out and mag everything that we can reach by hand. We could reach out and touch up all the joints with a hand joiner. We can come by and do the edges on the front of the form, like Abby's got an edger over there and Tia's got an edger right there. So we'll cut in our edges, and then this is the second float now. So this it's been in the sun a little bit. You can see Luke's not going really over in the shade too much, but he's doing the sun first. And then we're seeing what it looks like with the broom. If we like what it looks like, then we'll keep going if it's fine enough. If it's not, we'll give it a few more minutes and then broom it. But everything seems to be looking pretty good at this point. So when Luke's magging it out like that on floats, it's really firm, and he can get it down really tight. So when we pull that broom over it, it has a really nice fine broom finish on it. And from there, it's just a matter of, going around finishing up your edges. If you do want to picture frame it with the joints, you can do that, or you could just leave your joints with a broom finish over it. But these are the types of things that I teach in the Concrete Academy. I have the Concrete Underground. All these steps, even the forming part that we did here earlier in the video. So there's quite a little process to it. What's nice with having a crew where everybody knows how to do everything, it just makes everybody's job that much easier. So that'll be it here for today. We'll get this broomed. We'll leave the forms on. We'll probably come back in the morning, strip the forms off, Now I'll have a couple more videos popping up here that are of equal interest, so make sure you click on those. And then if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing, put new sub in the comments, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win some of the gear that we wear.